My name is Dr. Ken Gallardi. I posted a few videos on my model of a complete photon that I assert accounts for all of the wave effects as well as the particle effects of radiation. I posted 5 videos on the model so far that you will want to check out, and if you subscribe, you'll be notified as I post more showing how simply the model explains electromagnetic radiation. I'm using this video to show how clearly the complete photon model gives an understanding to the Poisson or Argo dot. I begin by giving a little background on the dot, and then I'll explain how the complete photon model elegantly explains how it occurs. One starts with a point source, which is intercepted by a circular disk. The Poisson dot is the small dot that occurs along the axis of the disks, as shown, in what would be expected to be the shadow of the disk. Historically, this was another of the great experimental results that was used to conclude that the radiation is a wave rather than a particle. Today, I explain how the complete photon model fully explains the effect. The fundamental observation that sets one up to understand the Poisson dot is that the intensity of the dot decreases as you go further from the disk. At first, the intensity increases, but then it decreases. Now, if the radiation were to come together at these points on its own, then it would stay together because light simply doesn't disappear. The result being that the intensity should increase or at least stay constant if you go further along the optic axis of the disk. But experimentally, the intensity decreases and gradually disappears. The implication of this observation is that the detector is a vital aspect of the observations. If the detector were not there, no reunification of the radiation parts would occur. The explanation that this complete model of the photon presents is that the disk is a perturbation that causes some of the photons that travel close to the perimeter of the disk to split into shells, and then the shells go through a Fresnel equivalent region where the shells are reuniting under the constraints of photon reunification. So allow me to digress a moment to recap the Fresnel zone in the double-slit diffraction experiment. Within this zone, some of the photons will interact with the detector placed within the zone and be observed even at points not aligned with the double-slit diffraction pattern. It is as if the detector encounters one shell of a photon, and if the encounter results in the observation of a photon, then it has caused the other shells of that photon to reunite at that detector site. It's presumed that not all such initial encounters will cause the shells to reunite at the detector, in which case an observation is not made. Within this region, one cannot map out the travel of the photon because the shells cannot be individually observed, so we're left to assess the reasonableness of the explanation. And the degree to which this explanation is seen to be reasonable is the degree to which the model has credibility. Now, back to the illuminated disk. In this case, most of the photons that were impacted by the disk, so that their shells were separated, will go on to reunite on their own and travel within the illuminated portion of the screen. But in the case of a small enough disk, a detector placed along the axis of the disk is able to cause the shells of a few photons to reunite so a photon is observed at these unexpected points. The detector is an essential component of the observation. The strength of the dot and the location of the observation are expressions of the probability that the detector can cause a photon to reunite at its location. And that's the explanation for the Poisson dot. The two most significant features of the model as it relates to this observation are, 1, the shell structure, and in particular how the shells travel unexpected paths while maintaining their identity as a single photon, and 2, the probability mechanics of the photon. Well, thanks for watching. Please subscribe to the channel, and you'll be notified as I post additional videos applying the model to other situations. And if you have a situation you'd like me to deal with, I invite you to post it in the comments. Please add your comments. Please pass it on, particularly to those in the physics community. Thanks again for watching, and God bless.